Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through how to deal with a controlling or angry husband during a separation. Before we dive in, I know that when you're going through a separation and potentially having to deal with legal proceedings and so on, it can really just impact you on so many levels. Emotionally, it can be really, really scary because often the partner is in a really angry state. And so if you're in a place where you're feeling that way and you're not sure how to move forward and you're really, really struggling on all levels, then I am here for you if you are needing some support and some guidance. And so all you need to do if you are feeling that way, then just click on the link below in the description section which just says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I can contact you just so I can learn a little bit more about where you're at and also help you to really navigate your way through a really difficult time in your life and in your marriage. And make sure to hit that subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so every week you get access to my latest videos that talk you through how to go about saving your marriage, how to be able to heal from within during difficult times such as infidelity, and then what you can do to be able to learn more about male psychology as well, so you can really get to know your husband at a deeper level. Now I know going through a separation is really, really difficult. And for a lot of women, they don't necessarily have the courage and the strength to be able to speak their truth, to be able to get their message across, to be able to get their points across. And I know that potentially not being able to get the financial support that you need from him, or just the emotional and physical support that you need in terms of looking after the children and trying to come to some sort of agreement around that, can be really taxing on so many levels. And so what I wanted to do today is I wanted to walk you through a couple of steps that you need to take if you're dealing with a husband who's really angry or really controlling and you're not quite able to get the outcome that you're looking for, whether that's through a divorce, whether that's through a separation, or just coming to some sort of agreement between the two of you as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you through a couple of scenarios that are really important to understand. And the first scenario I want to talk through is whether you're actually in physical danger here. You see, if we're dealing with an angry or a controlling husband, sometimes there can be physical harm involved. Now I want to point out here, at no point, in no scenario, is physical violence or physical harm condoned in any way. It should never be allowed. It cannot happen. It is not acceptable. I don't care if he's just lost a loved one. I don't care if he's going through some tough times at work. I don't give a shit about any of the scenarios that he's in. If there is physical harm on any level, it should not be tolerated. It is not acceptable. And so if you are in that situation, first thing you need to do is make sure you report it to the authorities and get the legal help that you need through the authorities. Now, either you're getting help through them to be able to support you through that and you get yourself out of that environment, or you contact friends or family that you know you can trust and that are going to be there for you, and make sure that they're there to support you every step of the way, whether that's you moving into their home for a temporary period of time until you've been able to manage and navigate your way through those situations, or whether that's more of a permanent solution or being able to get some sort of financial help so you can get out of your existing environment. But as I said, physical harm is in no way acceptable at all. Now, sometimes I do hear of individuals who are doing those things, and sometimes they make excuses for that person. I want you to remember, and I know it's hard, I know it's difficult for a lot of people who have been with that person for 10, 15, 20 years. And they've almost come to the acceptance that, this happens from time to time, but you've got to establish the courage to be able to walk away if you need to. It is so, so important because it should not be tolerated on any level. Physical violence is just a no-no completely. Now, there might be a part of you that's going, but he's just having a bad day. This sort of happens every now and then, but he's just going through some really tough times, and I want to love him through this. And that's cool. You can love him through it. You can have compassion for where he's at. You can have compassion and empathy for the fact that he's wounded on some level. And I do too. With anyone who engages in any sort of violence, it hurts my heart that they're at that place, because I don't believe that children were born into this world violent. That's just my belief. But they've learned certain behaviors, whether that be through the environment that they were raised in and so on. But when it comes to you, it should not be tolerated. It cannot be tolerated. It's not something that's serving you in any way. Put simply, it is just not serving you. So you have to make sure you get out of that environment as quickly and as swiftly as possible in the most safe way that you possibly can. And whether that's going to the police and getting some help on that level, or whether that's speaking to people that are close to you and you're able to get their support and potentially move in with them or whatever, something that's going to help you get out of that existing environment. That's the first thing that needs to be addressed, especially if you're dealing with physical safety. Secondly, if you're dealing with a scenario where it's more to do with emotional safety, then we need to handle this a little bit differently. Now, the first thing that we must do if you're dealing with emotional safety issues is it's about reclaiming your power. See, a lot of the time there's this power imbalance when it comes to emotional safety. You know, the man has been operating in a certain way, he's been domineering, he's been controlling, and then you've been down here the majority of your marriage or relationship, and the way he communicates shuts you down, and you almost curl into a ball and you're not sure what to say or what to do. Now, I know it might be hard to hear that, you know, this is something that's been going on for a long time, but the chances are that it actually has. And if you're dealing with a man who just constantly brings you down, or you're going through a process of mediation or whatever, just to try and get some legal documents, you know, agreed between the two of you, if he's always controlling you and getting angry at you all the time, it's more than likely going to back you into a corner. And in those moments, you're going to feel unable to speak your truth. But it is so important to reclaim your power, to own it. Now, a thing you want to explore is this feeling of being backed into a corner. Is it something that has come across in other parts of your life as well? You know, do you maybe struggle to speak your truth at work? You know, do you find it hard to be able to express yourself in front of your family and so on? Often there are parallels in other areas of our lives. So we have to ask ourselves, is this a commonality right across the board? If it is, then you want to make sure you're doing the healing inside so that you're actually able to really own your power and speak your truth. It is so powerful to do that. You must speak your truth. And you might feel that if you do that, then he's actually going to really bring you down and criticize you even more, or, you know, make you feel like you're the worst human being on this planet. And he may very well try to do that, but you've got to stand strong. You've got to stand firm in your beliefs and know that if you desire something, whatever it is, if that's a certain amount of, you know, alimony, or if that's balancing out the custody arrangements or whatever it is, you have to own it. You've got to say, this is what I believe in. And if I believe it, then I'm entitled to have that thing as well. I'm entitled to come to that agreement with him. Now, if you're in a place where he just will not budge, no matter how much you speak your truth, and he is simply just reacting in a really negative way, and that kind of leads me to my third point, which is about making sure that you get the right support that you need during this difficult time that you're going through. What I mean by that is, if you are trying to come to some sort of agreement, make sure that you get the right legal support that you need, whether that's a form of a mediator or whether that's a lawyer, whatever it is. Make sure you get the right support so you have a third party involved in this to be able to both individually express your own needs and come to a form of agreement. Because I know how difficult it is. I hear stories about this often from people that I communicate with on a regular basis about how difficult the husband has been in terms of trying to come to an arrangement. Now, this is not about saying, well, men are like this and women are like this. This happens right across the board. It can often be men who are controlling. It can sometimes be women who are controlling as well. So this is more because I'm dealing with women primarily, then I wanted to come more from a male perspective and really help you to get to a place of clarity inside and make sure that you know the steps that you need to take in order to move forward and to get the outcome that you're looking for. So as I said, to summarize, firstly, if there's physical harm involved, make sure you either report it to the authorities or get the support that you need from family members or friends who are going to look after you and take care of you during this difficult time. Remember, physical harm is not acceptable on any level. Secondly, if it's an emotional safety issue, you need to own your strength, you need to own your power and really be able to speak your truth to your husband and recognize that you are worthy of being able to get the things that you actually desire. Now, when you speak your truth and speak your power, we're not talking about being really angry and bitter and stuff like that. It ultimately just means that you are coming from a place of internal strength where you say, I understand where you're coming from. But I do believe that this is something that we need to do, and we need to put into this agreement and speak confidently and speak your truth in the best possible way. Because when you own your power, when you hold your center, other people pick up on that. They recognize you mean business, and they're not just going to try and just fob you off. So if you are dealing with emotional safety issues, make sure you own your power and you actually truly get that message across in the most empowered way that you possibly can. And thirdly, if he isn't budging when you're speaking your truth and he's simply not cooperating on any level, then you need to make sure you get the appropriate support that you need in terms of the legal help or a mediator of some sort to help you to come to an agreement with your husband. Now, I know having to go through these challenges is extremely difficult, and especially on an emotional level. Trying to figure out the way you want to navigate yourself through this marriage. You're probably wanting to save it. You're probably wanting to do everything you can to be able to rekindle that spark that you once had. And so if you are in that place, you're wanting to save your marriage, you're just wanting to heal from all of this. And even if you are going through a separation, you're wanting to recover, you're wanting to heal, you want to grow and become the best you that you possibly can, and really reclaim that power as well, then I'd love to be of service to you through my program, the Authentic Relationship System. It's an amazing program which I've specifically designed for women who are on the receiving end of infidelity or having to go through a tough time in their marriage, really helping them to heal, really helping them to learn lots about male psychology, to improve their communication, and really maximize their chances of saving their marriage. And so if it's something that feels right for you and you want to speak to me and you connect with some of my work, then what I'd encourage you to do is just in the description section below, just click on that link which says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose the time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at the scheduled time, just so I can learn a little bit more about where you're at and how I can possibly help you on this path. If you're not ready to speak to me yet, that's totally fine. Then what I'd encourage you to do is, once again, the description section below, there's a link to register for my free masterclass training. That training is there to show you the steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage in less than 60 days. She's a remarkable woman. I know you'll get tons of information through that webinar. And make sure you stick around to the very end, and I'll give you a free gift that I know you'll really, really enjoy. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And do let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video as well. I always love hearing the comments and the questions, and I'll make sure I respond to every single one of you. And if you want to learn why he gives you mixed messages, click this video above. And if you want to learn how to get your husband to love you again, click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.